2-day strength training program. I'm going to keep it really simple and keep it to about 6 to 8 exercises and stretches. The main thing is pay attention to the posture and my postural cues the whole time. How you learn with lightweight will determine whether you can progress to heavier weight and get the benefits that you want without injury or any pain. Anytime you experience any pain in the joints, reposition yourself or take a break. It might be too much. I'm going to do about 5 repetitions of each exercise very slowly. Remember that you're going to be in that either 8 to 12 repetition if you're building strength. If you're new to this, it's going to be a 12 to 15 or maybe a few more repetitions in 15 until you get started. Likewise, you may only be able to do 6 to 8 repetitions comfortably, and you might need to work your way up to that 15 with the same weight and then progress to a heavier weight. So we're going to start with the half squat. I'm actually going to use some 3-kilo dumbbells. I'm going to start with my feet hip distance apart and the toes slightly turned out. Shoulders back. We're going to pull the abdominals in and turn on the pelvic floor muscles. What I'm going to do is set my weight back in my heels. Really important. Then as I squat, once I can no longer squat without lifting my heels, I'm going to kind of stick my butt out a little bit. Draw the abdominals in, and the weights are going to come down to about the thigh-knee level and come on up. Okay, so we're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale. Now you're only going as low. Remember, this is a half squat. This is not a full deep squat. Only go as low as it feels comfortable in your knee joint. Your knees should be tracking over your shoelaces and your toes and not far forward. So keep that weight in the heels. Take at least 2 seconds to descend and the same to come up. Control. The next one, same muscle group, we're in the legs, but wide this time. So we're going to get a little bit more inner thigh work here. So with the weights on the thighs, I'm going to turn the knees out and the feet out. Make sure my knees are tracking over the feet. Inhale, exhale. Squeeze your bum as you come up. Stretch the inner thighs as you go down. Press the knees back. Squeeze the bum. Now, an alternative to holding the weight would be hold one weight in front of you for comfort. Or you could use a medicine ball or a kettlebell, whatever you have at home. Okay? So there's your wide squat. We're going to move into stationary lunges now. This is quite a functional exercise. I'm going to start the same way I did with my squat. Feet hip distance apart, but my toes are facing straight ahead. I'm going to slide one leg back. Then I'm going to bend my front knee a little bit and take that back leg a little bit further and then shift my weight back. The back heel is lifted. So when I go down, I'm going to go straight down. It's the same as a squat. Sometimes this is called a split squat instead of a lunge. The front knee should track over the shoelaces and not in front of the foot. Keep it in the center of the foot. Breathe in, breathe out. Go slowly. Adjust. Sometimes you're just going to have to adjust your leg placement to get comfortable. Make sure you have some distance between the feet. So showing you from the front. Hip distance apart. I'm going to slide that leg back in the same line that it was on. And up. Slowly and controlled. Keep your bum and your abdominals engaged the whole time. Progressing from that, get used to those, and then we're going to add a little bit of balance. Balance is a very important component of your workout. So to add balance to that, I'm going to step back, find that lunge, then bring it back in. This may take some time, but it gives you something to work toward. So moving on from our legs, we're going to move into our upper back muscles. The strength of your lats and your upper back are very important so that you don't overuse the muscles in your neck and your arms. So I'm going to still use the dumbbells, but I've got a couple options here. I'm going to use a bench. This could be a chair or a step bench or a step ladder. And I can either come into that wide squat stance, one hand on the bench, or for your wrist comfort, it can be on the front of the bench. And then I'm going to line up my shoulders. Okay? So I'm not going to let that shoulder drop. I'm going to start with my back in sort of a tabletop position. Pull the elbows straight up and back. So I'm pulling the dumbbell straight up toward my armpit. Things to avoid. Try not to bring it up here. You want the shoulder to be back and down and pull. Inhale, exhale. Now I can choose to be in a lunge stance as well. I can have my legs in this position if this is more comfortable. And that is your single arm row or a bent row, bent over row. Okay, changing sides. Here's another option, having the front leg in line with the bench and pull. You want to feel this right between your shoulder blades. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And lengthen the back of that neck. Try not to look up like that. Everything wants to be nice and long. You want to feel nice and tall in your posture the whole time. So that's your bent row. Now here's an option because a lot of us do have an exercise band. Or you might be traveling and you can use your exercise band, obviously. So rowing with the band, we're going to target the same muscle group. The mid-back, shoulders back, thumbs up, feet together. This is also going to give you a nice stretch. Breathe in, exhale, pull back. Now I'm pulling both my elbows back so I can think about holding something in between my shoulder blades, like holding a piece of fruit, like an orange in between my shoulder blades. I can split that up and do 2 counts back. Inhale. Exhale. Again, try to keep the shoulders down and the neck nice and long in this exercise. Variations on the tempo. 3 pulses back. 1, 2, 3, and return. 1, 2, 3. That'll just give you a little different feeling, and it keeps your workout fresh. All you need to do is change the tempo or the rhythm, and it's enough to refresh your workout because your muscles do have a memory and they'll get used to it. You may not feel it anymore, and if you're not going to raise your weights, then you might have to change the tempo or the rhythm. So next one we're going into is the same muscle group, the mid-back. This is called the reverse fly, and I am going to use the Swiss ball for this, but you can also do this on the floor. I'm going to show you without any weight. This is a posture area that's usually quite tight, the front of the body, so the muscles in the upper back might be quite weak. And you might find to start that this is enough to start with. I'm going to go feet apart, hip distance. Now when you're on your stomach, you have to set up your posture and your core muscles the same way when you're standing up. So I'm going to lengthen the legs, press the hips into the floor, and draw the abdominals in. Now my nose is going to be at a hover. My arms are straight out the sides like an airplane. And I'm going to lift the arms and bring it back in. Now I'm not lifting any weights right now, so I can keep those arms pretty straight. And again, Keep your arms at a level where you're not up in your neck. Exhale up. So I'm just hovering the chest. I'm continuing to try to press those hips down and keep that belly pulled in. It's a really nice exercise. This can also be done with bent arms if that's more comfortable for you. All right. And I'm going to show you with the Swiss ball as well. I have to get my Swiss ball, which rolled away. Right. So this is a small Swiss ball. I do like the smaller size for this exercise, but I'll show you what it looks like if this were a bigger ball. Okay. So this is a 55 ball. If I had a 65 ball, it'd be about that much higher. So I'm going to get my ribs on the ball, knees out wider than my hips, and then get your weights set up in front of the ball at the sides, and then straighten your knees a little bit so your knees are hovering the ground and your feet are anchored. This is where it's going to pay to wear shoes, because then you'll have some traction in the carpet or on the mat. So here, I'm simply going to lift the weights. My elbows are slightly bent. Your back's completely supported. This is a really nice place to do these. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Likewise, I can do this with no weight. These are smaller muscles, and if your arms are long, don't expect to lift a lot of weight. I would probably only lift 1 to 2 kilos maximum if you're just starting out. 1 kilo is going to be enough, unless you decide to do that as more of a bent row and bend those elbows a little bit more. But the fly looks like flying. Next on our list, we're going into the abdominals. And again, sometimes we have tight hips and hamstrings to deal with, so I'm going to show you some ways to alleviate that. This is the full exercise with no props, no weights. We don't need weights for this one. It's basically a reverse crunch. I'm going to cross ankle over knee so my knees are wide. This will help your back be mobile. If you're tight in your lower back, your hips, or your thighs, this is going to be quite challenging to hold your legs together. So let's stick with this crossed ankle one to start. Hands down by sides. It is simply inhale to prepare. Draw your navel in towards your spine. Bring the knees toward the shoulders. That's an exhale. Inhale. Exhale, knees to shoulders. I'm not lifting my hips yet. All I want to think about at this point is trying to curl my sit bones up toward the ceiling. See that tiny lift? That's all you need. Now, if you have a little more flexibility in your back, push on the floor, shoulders back, and then I'm going to lift the hips a little bit and return. Exhale. And return. Keep your chin tucked. Now, this is what this should not look like. I see it all the time. This is doing nothing. It's not working your abdominals. Might be giving you a bit of a cardio workout. It's a terrible idea. It's really bad for your back and your neck. So everything should be 2 seconds. 1,000, 2,000. 1,000, 2,000. Now, if you have a small ball or a roller, you'll feel much more successful with your hips raised. Now, the ball or the roller, either one, should be just below the waistline on your pants. Okay? You don't want the roller or the ball right up your lower back. You want it underneath the hip bones. Okay? So I'm going to take the arms nice and long. Same position. By the way, if you do 10 repetitions, I would do 5 with the right leg crossed on top and 5 with the left crossed on top. You do want to create some resistance here. Now, I'm going to lengthen my arms, thumbs up position. As my knees come in, scoop the abdominals in, push on the roller a little bit with your forearms, lift, roll it back down. It's much easier to come off now of the roller. Exhale, and inhale, and exhale, and inhale. Very nice for your back. And that is your reverse crunch. You take the roller away, come up nice and safe. We're going into the back extension. So we're basically going to the opposite muscle group in the back extensors. So first one, legs apart. You don't need any toys for this. Any props? I'm going to start with my nose covering the ground. Now lengthen your legs first. You want to kind of connect. You want to create some energy in your body. Long legs, long arms. Lift the chest. Lift the legs a little bit. Squeeze the butt. Roll those shoulder blades again. Lift your arms a little higher. Feel it. All down your back and then your bottom. And down touch. Inhale. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Lengthen and lift. And inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Always aiming to get nice and tall and sliding those shoulders down your back. When you've finished your 8 to 12 or 15 repetitions, press yourself up into a cat stretch to bend you back the other way. This will release any tension in your back. Nicely done. Now we'll be going into shoulders. And wait, before we do that, I want to show you another variation for the back extension. Because you might have a ball. Let's not forget. So set up just like you were doing your flies before. Bend knees. And then I'm going to get those feet really anchored into the floor wide. Press away, squeeze your butt, and lift the chest. An option, if you're sliding, if your feet are sliding, is to place your feet against a wall. Posture tips are long back of the neck, look straight ahead, lift the arms, and lengthen. Squeeze the bum, and down. And that's your back extension. Shoulder press. I'm going to start sitting on the ball. You can sit in a bench or you can just do them standing, but I'll show them all different ways for you. All right, so here we go. Shoulder press is a really functional move. We are always picking things up. We're putting things up on shelves. We're taking things down. So bring your weights, which you're going to want a pretty light weight for this if this is new to you. And I'm going to bring the weights right next to the shoulders. Your feet hip distance apart. You just need to feel secure. Nice alignment. Try to avoid things like that. Breathe in. You're going to exhale. Press straight up. Now you want to make sure that you can see your hands and the dumbbells out of the corners of your eyes. So we want to try to avoid this. Try not to bring the weights behind you. Very uncomfortable. Exhale up and inhale down. Variations on all of your exercises are one arm at a time. Exhale, which can also be pretty functional. We don't do everything with both arms at the same time. And that's your shoulder press. And now without the ball, I'm going to stand. And I'm going to stand on one foot. So here comes the balance element. Always incorporating balance. You're going to be working your core at the same time, so it's going to give you a little bit more workout. So there we go. Exhale. Inhale. Not necessary to press all the way overhead. This is fine. Again, you want to make sure that your neck feels comfortable. So I'm really going to feel like I'm widening the shoulders, really wide across the shoulders. Exhale. And that is your shoulder press. From here, we're stretching. So it's short and sweet, but you've covered a lot of muscle groups there. I'm going to find my band. This can be a strap, or a belt, or a jump rope, or whatever you have around. So line on your back. Take one leg up, place the band or the strap around the ball of your foot. Reach as high as you can. And we're going to start with the calves. Pull the toes back and forward. And then flex that foot. Now pull that leg back. Feeling a stretch in the hamstring is where you're supposed to feel it. Okay? We can make that dynamic. Dropping the leg, pulling it up. Always remember, do your stretches after your workout or after your warm-up. And now for the IT band, which is this long tendon on the side. I'm simply going to bring that leg across the midline. I'm going to turn this way so you can see. Then I'm bringing that leg across. The inner thighs are together. From here, simply pull your big toe back, and you may feel that all the way down the side. That's what you want. And of course, repeat on the other side. If you have a little bit more mobility in that hip, you can extend the bottom leg. Remember to flex the toes a few times to stretch the calf. Pull back, find a stretch, and then give it some movement. And then into that IT band. I'm going to bend that knee for this one. Bring that leg across. Breathe. And set your arms in a position that will be comfortable on your neck. You might want to drop them right down. And then pull those toes back. So the top foot, flexing the toes back. Good. All right. Shoulder stretch. Bring the arm across. I'm going to hold right above the elbow joint and pull that arm across and keep that shoulder down. And we can tip the head as well to stretch the neck. Other side, hold above the elbow, shoulder down, and tilt. And now, if you have your roller, if you do have a roller, this is just review. If you have a roller, you probably already have the video clips of the self-massage techniques that we use. Another very important aspect of your workout to keep tension out of the muscles and to recover faster so you don't get so sore. You can simply sit right in the middle of the roller. You can also do this on a ball. You can use tennis balls, but you have to sit on one at a time. And I'm going to twist to one side and just roll over that hip and over the bum a little bit. Likewise on the other side. Twist it a little bit more to get into the outer thigh. And then to massage this tendon that we stretched, straighten one leg, bring the other leg in front. Then I'm going to turn myself all the way onto my side so I'm just below my hip bone to start. Both elbows on the floor, or one hand on the floor and an elbow, and I'm going to move forward to get into that IT band. So in between the knee joint and the hip joint. That's where you're going. Just find 2 different spots that seem a bit sore and roll over them for about 30 seconds. Or you can find one and you can stay there. And then swap sides. So I straighten that leg, my leg over, elbow, and hip. Let me move down so you can see me. So I'm going to roll starting at the top. Move it down. Make sure you're right on the side and you're not rolling forward because that's going to hurt. Good. And likewise, you can massage any part of your body on the roller. And since we worked our upper back muscles, another simple one to do is to hold the head, elbows forward, feet hip distance apart, bend that knee really well, lift your hips, and then just simply roll over the shoulder blade bones. And that was your workout 1. And next you will be watching workout 2. So enjoy, have a great workout.